Okay, y'all. Before we start, I'm a Tennessee fan. Congratulations to all the seniors. It's a senior day, and we got one game to win. Who knew the biggest game of my lifetime as a Tennessee fan would be actually against the Vanderbilt Commodores? Hope it's a good fight, but let's go Vols in that one. But I'm gonna start off today with an analogy. As a guy, if any other guy, I assume this is mostly a guy audience. If not, if you're a gal, a female, if you have a situation like this that's happened within your friends, you can relate to this. I'm going to describe to you what SEC football was like today. You ever had a time that you're one of your friends, picture this, is trying to talk to a girl. He's doing pretty good. He's hyped up to be a pretty good guy. He's shown some pretty good evidence. He's had a dating history before that's not bad. But overall, nothing's really worked. Like, it's just never really worked. And you're looking at this, it's like, this is the best opportunity he's had. It's a good situation. He's the biggest moments he's delivered on the dates. He's done his job. He's met the parents. Only thing he got to do is just seal the deal and ask her, just ask her out. That's what you got to do. Pick a good venue. That's all you got. He decides to pick a picnic. Not a bad idea, but he goes out there. And it starts off a bit wobbly. Not the best thing in the world. He doesn't talk really well. And it gets onto the last 5 minutes of the picnic that he's out with. And he decides to throw out, "Where's my hug at? Can I walk you back to your car?" And then he asks for the Then he asks her out after all of that, embarrassing himself in front of her. He trips before he even gets to the car when he's walking her back. His shirt is wrinkled. He's untucked. Nothing about him looks professional. He's got food in his teeth. And now he's asking her out after that. And he gets a no. And you're like, dang, bro, that's tough. That can't get any worse than that. A week later, a friend goes by, and it's like, hey, this guy's in a really good spot. He's been talking to two different girls, man. He got her good. Like, he's set. He's real set. And then it comes out to have the dates with both of them, and he blows both opportunities completely because he can't talk when it matters the most. And you're like, oh my gosh, this can't be that worse than that. It's like, hey man, you had a bad first half with the first girl. You had a bad time with the first girl. The second time, the other girl, you'll be okay. And he starts trying to talk, and my gosh, he sounds like he's never talked a thing in his life. Sounds like Stephen Hawking out there, and he can't formulate sentences. He's stuttering badly. He can't talk. He can't maintain eye contact. And any hope he had was gone out the way because his own body was defending himself. He can't do anything. He can't call a thing. Can't talk, and the one opportunity he had, she went to the bathroom for 20 minutes. It's something he couldn't control went against him. That's unfair. Bad thing. And guess what? After that, you're like, oh my gosh, that was pretty horrible itself. That might have been worse than the first guy. About the third one. This guy right here, perfectly good situation. This girl that he's talking to has been talked. Every guy has been to her. Every guy has talked to her, and it's gone well. They got a date out of that. They've been dating for actually not. It's been pretty successful. This, she is the guys are 5 for 5 when it comes to dating her. Ain't no one ever been rejected by this girl before. Every guy has gladly been accepted by this girl. You go on a date, the guy feels kind of confident, doesn't start off well. He realizes, okay, I got to pick it up, picks back up, okay, we're in a good mode. We're in a good road. Hey, this is looking like every other time right now. Starts off a bit slow, understand her a bit more, make her laugh a little bit more, take her to the right places. Things are going well. And it gets to the point that it's like, hey man, you're in a good spot. Things are going perfect. And now it's kind of slip back a little bit. It's like, maybe not the best, but you still got a good play right here. Next up, you're like, okay, I got to throw something out. You got a minute left, maybe, to get Asker out. You pay for the check. You leave a $5 tip. That was a good play on your part. You hold the door for her. That's also a good play. It's set up for perfection. And all you got to do is just ask. It's right here. It's right here. All you got to do is just catch it now. All you got to do is just ask her. And she's going to say yes. And guess what happens? You don't ask. You fumble at the biggest of moments. You trip up you trip on your own words. She asks you, what did you just say? You get embarrassed. You say, have a good night. And you forget about what happened. You tried, you forgot about the words you were going to say to her. You planned it for days, you planned it for years. You were right there in the moment and you fumbled. You fumbled at the biggest of times. The first situation I told you was Florida versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a situation lined up that was beautiful. This guy had potential. This guy had everything you could possibly want. And in the biggest of moments, his shirt got untucked. My gosh, he threw it into triple dang coverage and 50 yards down the field with a minute 20 left to go and 3 timeouts at midfield. Next up, he trips. He trips at one point, but luckily probably the girl didn't see it or didn't really care. That's the second interception he got dropped by. And guess what? The third one, he didn't even get a chance. Like, he threw it right back. He got saved because he thought it was funny that he tripped, then proceeds to fail. In the biggest of moments, where's my hug at? And got rejected. That's what happened to him. He had a second chance and threw a worse pass the third time. That's horrible. That is beyond me. How bad of a pass that was by Jackson Dart. Good gosh, Ole Miss, you must be cursed beyond belief. How? I'm not saying I'm surprised because I said that before. I was talking to my family like, hey, watch out for this game right here. If any team, Tennessee, we knew we had to get some teams to lose. At least one, and this was the main game we were looking at, and we were all rooting for Florida. This is the one day we rooted for Florida as an entire fan base, and we did the chops and the fan base together at Neyland. I wasn't at that game. I had some other stuff to do, but I stopped what I was doing for that moment and watched this heartbreaking loss for Ole Miss fans. And it was wonderful to watch for me. Because who cares less about Lane Kiffin than Tennessee fans? If he lost every game next year, I wouldn't be mad. Oh, I'd be glad. Let's go. I'm happy. Because why should I care? He left us. And guess what? We're one game away from the playoff. We're playing Vandy. And if you better believe that game better be orange and white for majority. 80% of that crowd's be orange and white. A lot of Tennessee fans are actually Vandy students, but those Vandy students went to the higher education, so they went up there. But tell me, you're a Commodores fan all your life? Let's prove that. Yeah, prove that. Go out there and root for your Commodores when the Tennessee Volunteers have one shot to make the playoff for the first time ever. And second of all, first time in a legitimate national championship ever. That's two huge things right there. Second situation was Alabama versus Oklahoma. You go on the date. You have two dates lined up perfectly. First half, what was that? Play calling horrendous. You let the run game go right through y'all for 205 yards. But it's still 10-3. You couldn't really talk. The play calling was horrible. You just weren't talking. Like, nothing was creative at all. And then you actually start talking to the girl. And it's worse than the first thing you were doing. They decided to let Milroe just do, like, simple things. And the offense could not do simple things. If you threw the ball to the right side of the field, anything before the 10-yard line, it was getting picked. Anything within 10 yards, it was just getting picked. They threw 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick six, one that brought them down inside the 20. Offense hadn't had to do a thing. Nothing could have saved that. And then, at the end, she went to the bathroom for 20 minutes at the end. You really had an opportunity to maybe collect your words. You had an opportunity. You felt better about yourself. And guess what? She left. Guess what happened? You had an opportunity to win, to possibly get yourself within 2 touchdowns. And the ref throws a penalty for a formation call when the ball was already in the end zone. Like, the ball was heading in the end zone. And then he decides to throw the flag, which is BS beyond belief. And the last situation is very obviously A&M. This person's not let a dude hit. Like, it's guaranteed. You will have a great chance. It is 100%. Oklahoma's done it. Vandy's done it. Who else? Who else have Auburn? Pop in the mind. Kentucky. Didn't they beat Kentucky? Oh, Auburn beat Kentucky, my bad. Oh, the one team that beat them. Whoa. Who else? Every other team. Arkansas especially. Oklahoma especially, too. Ooh, whoa. Like, you got Alabama next week, by the way, but who else? Pop in my mind. Come back. It was in my mind. Who else? Give me a second. Missouri was another. There we go. Missouri. And then some other team. I feel like I should know that one. It's not coming to mind. But you know what I'm talking about. Auburn has let everyone hit on them this entire year. The one time they did it was a Wildcat, and they don't really like them Cougars. So, talking about this, Auburn's let everyone hit on them. Oh my gosh, comes to clutch time situations, they choke bad. Bad. What happened, A&M? This was laid out for a platter. You couldn't ask for a simpler pass. The tip worked. The handoff to Marcel Reed worked. Opening the door is a really good gesture. Marcel Reed is right there and you're wide open. Just got to throw it and catch. And he throws the best pass you could have asked. And you fumble it. You drop the ball. Their season's over. You're not beating Texas. You're not. You are not beating Texas after that. That's pathetic. How do you drop that? How do you drop that? That's pathetic. It hits you right in the hands. Bam. I've seen a lot of bad drops. That might be number one. For circumstance, that's a playoff spot on the line right there. I think he can still make the SEC championship. I don't know. I really don't. And he really did not want to test that today. That's awful. That was pathetic. How do you drop that? First of all, Auburn had a lot of opportunities. They had a 21-point lead. You blew that. But even then, A&M, get a stop. Also, you had a PI call go in your favor that made absolutely no sense. The guy makes a field goal, and then he proceeded to run a 3rd and 6 option play to the left side, which is the short side of the field, which had no hope of working. I don't understand what that was. That was pathetic on their part. Phenomenal job, though, by Auburn's defense at the stretch, that point in the game. Auburn had a great catch in the end zone by that one number 5 guy. Shout out to that guy. Big plays there. Auburn stormed the field. The guy was wearing a bra at one point. Milroe played the worst game of his career. Hopefully, I don't think he's hurt. But Caden Proctor cannot move side to side. He's like 6'7", 340. That sounds really good. But when our Mason Thomas is coming after you, and the guy is a lot faster than you, and you don't have a guy to help, my gosh, Caden Proctor cannot get out there. And that showed a bit against Tennessee, too. Speed will kill Proctor in any situation. A guy that has any type of move that's not just a bull rush, he will get beat upon, because guess what? He can't move laterally that well. Compared to these fast linebackers, which you probably got to face a ton of in the NFL, he gets cooked. These tackles got cooked the entire night. It was like Brent Venables wasn't anything impressive. You've seen this on tape for 10 weeks, and you get beat. It wasn't like you're looking forward to anything. You're playing Auburn at home. The last time we lost to them, Cam Newton was a quarterback at a college. You know how long ago that was? 2010. Been a while. Been a long time. The guy's pretty much retired now. Shout out to Cam Newton, though. He's a great podcast. But that's pathetic. And you poured 3 points. 3 points the entire game. Wow. Bad. We scored more and we didn't do anything the second half against the same team. How? Oklahoma's defense scored more points than your entire offense. That's bad. Bad. I think they ran for like 300 yards too, Oklahoma did. And guess what? Before then, Ole Miss had an atrocity happen. How do you throw that? Jackson Dart. Wow. Pathetic. Incredible. DJ Lagway's going to be special, by the way. He had one interception. It was a really, really good interception by Ole Miss. Lagway had a couple plays, especially in the first quarter, that really impressed me. I think he will become better than Nora Sellers. They're both going to be really, really good. And they have him for 2 more years in the SEC, which terrifies me. Because we got to play Florida both years. And one of them's going to be in Florida, which is next year. So Nico, let's get better real quick. Good day, by the way. Bad first quarter. But we're a bad first quarter team either way. And good job for the rest of it. Lagway had times that he would... Pressure's coming right here. It's a 20-yard in route or crossing route. And he will not even... he will look right at the defender. Just fling it. Doesn't have to step into it. It throws a dot. Did it twice. I think it was on the same drive. They got a touchdown, I think, out of it. The guy's special. The guy is really, really good. And he's helping Billy Napier keep his job. And this defense has figured out a rhythm somehow. Because they slowed down LSU, and they're like, oh, so what's LSU? They just slow down Ole Miss's offense too. That's pretty tough to do. This environment's really, really tough to play in a swamp, and no one knows that more than a Tennessee fan. This is a tough place to play at. It's probably top 5 in the country and tough places to play at. And if you're not from Florida, you have a tough time playing there, to be honest. I'm excited though. We'll see what happens. One game away. Anything else happen crazy today? No, just Ole Miss should be ashamed of themselves. A&M should be ashamed of themselves, and Alabama should definitely be ashamed of themselves. That was the worst performance of the day. At least the other two were close. My gosh, you sucked. 3 for 3 on road games, killing teams. What does this year come to? This all happened to SEC. I mean, we all knew Indiana was going to lose. That was pretty simple. It was. I looked at it the same way as the Kamala Trump thing, to be honest. I was like, hey, this team has a lot of hype, and they have some stuff going in their favor, but it's going to be a blowout in one guy's favor, and you're not going to like it probably. And Trump's going to kill him. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Once Ohio State found a rhythm, there was no stopping them. They killed Indiana. Like, they scored 31 straight points on them. There was nothing. They didn't have they didn't have 1 yard in the second quarter. They couldn't do a thing on them. But yeah, Notre Dame took care of business. That's not a surprise at all. They're a top 5 team, to be honest. I'm impressed by them, kinda. We'll see what happens with USC. I think USC has a slight chance of beating them. And then Penn State almost lost. Shout out for that. I love a good fake punt. So that was nice. And yeah, Miami doesn't have a defense, but they showed up a little bit better against Wake Forest. We'll see if Syracuse can upset them. Common Core, please. SMU's doing their thing, and nothing else. I mean, Colorado lost. That's not a huge surprise in my opinion. Kansas looks pretty good recently, only if they actually started like that early in the year. Arizona State won. Close. Almost blew a huge lead. Got down to the 3-yard line in a Hail Mary. I would have lost in the game if it was in the end zone, but fair. Good job, Arizona State. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I can think of right now. Vanderbilt lost. Shout out to LSU to keep their job. Georgia allowed 21 points to UMass and was trailing at one point, which is quite funny. Arkansas won. Yeah, Missouri beat Mississippi State, which I don't think anyone watched a second of that game. And yeah, shout out to my boy. Shout out to Brew McCoy. 2 touchdowns. And yeah, that's my opinion of today's games. Just checking this out. Also, oh yeah, Nebraska. Good job making a bowl game. And Michigan's going to. If you beat Ohio State next week, that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, shout out to Florida. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, go. Good job, Florida. I'm not going to say go. Like, go. Your team, fill in the blank, go. That team I just mentioned. Like, I'm not going to say that. But, good job. Good job. They just, I see a bunch of fans for Florida's like, hey, we took care of your business. Go take of yours now. I got y'all. We're going to beat Vandy. Better beat Vandy. But yeah, hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. Put on comments your opinions about this. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. Remember, God bless y'all.